Welcome to Jen Cares Live Talks powered by Swag Her Magazine and Chosen Counselors, the show that brings the community to you Mondays at 8 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. Here we engage in tough talks and meaningful conversations, featuring guests that help us stay in the know. If you're watching on Facebook, be sure to like and follow our page. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to never miss a show. Now, here's your host, Jen Cares.
Well, good evening and welcome to Jen Cares Talks Live, powered by Swag Her Magazine and Chosen Counselors. I am your host, Jen Cares, the founder of Chosen Counselors, a nonprofit organization that seeks to inspire, motivate, empower, and strengthen individuals and families. As always, I want to thank you so much for joining us here with Swag Her and Chosen Counselors, bringing good conversations to the table. We like to bring the community to you, and we love tough talks and meaningful conversations. So tonight, it's a tough talk, but it's a meaningful conversation to help us keep on living this thing called life. So we thank you for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and share. I want to say special thanks to Coach Janae for joining us last week as we talked about going from reflection to intention. And I gave y'all some homework. I'm not going to talk about it. Y'all go back and watch the last 2 episodes because we do get homework sometimes. Because it's not just about hearing it. It's really for us to apply these things to our lives to be the best version of ourselves, okay? So I'm excited for tonight. Tonight, we have Lady J, and I've been following her on TikTok for a little while, and I see her messages, and she was like, I was like, oh, she's giving it to us. Oh, it hurts, but we need it sometimes. Why? Tough talks and meaningful conversations. So tonight, I'm excited for us to get into talking about emotional legacy. And I'm not going to do too much about it because I'm going to bring her up here and we're going to talk about it. But how we handle things is normally passed down from our parents and our parents' parents and our parents' parents' parents. And sometimes the people we see on the street, okay? But we want to make some shifts in things. We're still in January and we want to be the amazing people that we can be from January to December. And we might have to make some adjustments. Y'all ready? I know. I'm not always ready either, but I promise we come out for the better from it. So help me welcome the amazing Lady J as we talk about emotional legacy.
Wow. Hello. How are you?
I'm doing fine. And you?
I'm doing good. So excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for having us and joining us to come and talk and share a little bit of the business and help us get our business together.
Yes, let's do it.
I'm already nervous. I got my paper and notepad, my notepad and pen friends. I like to take notes because I too want to apply it to my life.
Yes,
okay?
Ma'am. Absolutely.
Okay. So here at Jen Cares, we always start with a quote of the day. And our quote of the day today is, "You can never be true to others if you keep on lying to yourself." Ooh. Again, you can never be true to others if you keep on lying to yourself. And I don't want to mess up that baby's name, but we're going to call him GGM. What's your thoughts on that? You can never be true to others if you keep on lying to yourself.
I think that's so optimally true. And I wanted to use a big word to put in front of true, to really emphasize, because one of the things that I have is my own personal language that I even talk to my clients about, especially also as being a pastor, is to thine own self be true. Right. Mm-hmm. And so it's really important that you understand that there is no truth that you can even live or tell without being true to you first.
Say it again.
Yeah, there's no truth that you can live or tell without being truthful to you first. A lot of the time, just with clients, I find, and I built a whole program around this premise. That's why it's striking me the way that it is. I built a whole program around this premise that we needed to be able to tell ourselves the truth. And one thing that we've been prone to do is self-lie. We lie to self a lot. And sometimes we do it, a lot of times it's really unintentional, but we're doing it and we don't even realize that we're building a mistrust and a distrust within our own selves. So I love that quote.
A mistrust within ourselves. Oh, because we're lying to ourselves.
That's right. And I want you to also think about it like this. The relationship within ourselves is so personal, right? It's that one-on-one. And sometimes we really take that for granted. And so what ends up happening is that we end up not keeping our word to ourselves. How does that look? Oh, I'm going to the gym. Never follow up. Well,
Lady
that's
J, wait, we just started. I said I was going to the gym. I ain't got there yet. The snow was in the way.
You said let's flow. I'm flowing because it's such a big thing. Okay. I'm slowing down.
In my business already. I am going to the gym, just not this week. We gotta wait for the snow to clear up and stuff. But that's real. We tell ourselves we're gonna do something, and then we don't do it, and then we only have ourselves to blame.
Yes.
Okay. Heavy hitting. I'm loaded. I'm ready. So, friends, as always, I have questions, but if you have any comments, thoughts, questions, be sure to drop them in the comment section. So, Lady J, how would you describe yourself? Who is Lady J?
Oh my gosh, that's, people like me can never tell who we are simply. I'll try to give this in an elevator speech. I am a wife, a mother, a daughter, an aunt, a sister. I'm literally in all of those positions at the same time, but yet very present in who I get a chance to be when the role is required. I'm a very loving person, but I'm a very straightforward, direct person. But I believe in making sure that you honor people and that you always leave people with their dignity. But I believe in doing the hard work as a therapist. I believe in encouraging and admonishing my clients to do their hard work. And I make sure that in my personal life, I do my own hard work. That's who I am.
I like this. You say you're very present when in the role that you're required to be. And oftentimes, let's take a wife, right? And a mother.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
To be the wife, you can't turn into the mother. You got to be the wife of the husband. They don't always want the mother.
Yes.
So there's some traits and qualities that you fulfill in a wife's role that mirror it is not the mother, right? The mother has a different effect. To be with the daughter is not about being a friend. Sometimes it's to be the mother to that daughter. And being able to be present in those moments, very nice. I like that.
Yes.
I'm very present when the role is required. I'm using that. Yes, I like it. So our topic for tonight is emotional legacy.
Yes, it is.
When you hear that, what does it mean to you? Emotional legacy.
Oh my goodness. It's one of the biggest things. I've been doing this work, if I'm just being honest, for about 10 years. As a licensed marriage and family therapist associate, I've been doing for it about 3 to 4. But if I'm talking about just the role of counseling, talking, guidance, because I've been doing it in the pastoral role for over 8 years, emotional legacy, I have found to be one of the main things that we often forget about. So emotional legacy is intentionally choosing what emotional patterns you pass forward. It's about breaking cycles of silence, avoidance, dysfunction, and emotional neglect. Modeling healthy expression of feelings without fear or shame, teaching accountability and repair, just to name a few.
What other few you got? Because I know you locked and loaded. Go ahead, sis.
Creating environments where truth is safe and welcomed. When I first began to talk about emotional legacy, I get so much from my clients. When it comes to what I get an opportunity to help with and serve in their life, to help them with and liberate them from. And so, over the last 2 to 3 years, what I've noticed is that people are so intentional about their finances, but they're not intentional about their emotional legacy, right? And so what I find is that because people neglect emotional legacy, they either die twice in a really great way, or they really die twice in a really unpleasant way.
Talk about that.
Yeah. So what it's saying is that we come here, we're born, right? And then we live and we learn these habits, and an emotional legacy is something that's historic, right? It's not something that you come in and create. You can create an emotional legacy from the point that you're at, but what's been laid before you is already history, right? So in order for you to really understand the impact of how detrimental emotional legacy is in the family, is that you have to understand that you have an opportunity to live two times in a really great way, which means treat people right as you go through your life, emotionally be present, emotionally tap in, confrontation, tell the truth, right? And if you pass on from this earth, what you left behind will trickle down and contribute to the family system year after year after year. Or you can do the opposite and die in a really horrible way. Because keep in mind, when an emotional legacy is included or thought about, it's something that is going to outlive you. So you get to decide what that looks like.
Intentionally choosing.
Yes.
It's so big because we saw mama or whoever you want to put in this, you saw blank person, right? You saw the person. There we go.
Yeah.
Responding to a situation in one way. And you felt like because they responded that way, I had to respond that way. And then as you get older, you find out responding that way isn't really healthy. Responding that way really doesn't give me what it is that I thought I needed, right? And you have to unlearn what you thought was the best way to handle that situation. And it affects our emotions of how we didn't interact with others.
Yeah.
But I have to now intentionally choose the pieces that I want, that does help me, that does build me up, and let go intentionally those pieces that aren't helping me. Why do you think people struggle with that so hard?
Well, we struggle with that because first and foremost, we don't realize that we are being taught. See, like I said, emotional legacy is historic, right? So we think that the habits and the traditions we carry from our family is just, the norm, right? Because that's what we learned. We've done this, we've lived this, we've seen it demonstrated, right? We've heard the mantras, all of that kind of thing. So we've come into that and really understand that this is what it is. And so when you were first speaking, the reason why I was looking, because I was really downloading, I'm a downloader, what you were saying. And what I will tell you is that a lot of people don't even have the tools to identify. See, what you were talking about in the beginning is identification of something being something that you can identify, such as a pattern. Most people don't have the tools to identify the pattern. Right? So we got to get people to the point to where they are able to identify that there's an issue, there's a problem, or maybe there's not a problem. Maybe there's just a shift to be needed. That's needed.
Because sometimes you also got to let it sit for a second.
Yeah.
Because what you said is how people don't even identify that it's a problem, right? Sometimes I do, not sometimes, but I do groups with children, right? And a young boy would be like, yeah, she hit on me. And I, let them know that's not the best situation to be in, because at any moment it could go left. At any moment you could respond and it go left. And they don't realize that it's a toxic situation, or how it can grow to be so much bigger, how you feel like it's love taps, but then it becomes something bigger, it becomes something stronger. And you're like, oh no, this is how they love me, because we can't identify. That love doesn't mean you hit me. That love doesn't mean you wreck my eye. That love doesn't mean you throw something at me. It's like, yeah, she threw an iron at me. I'm like, what happened before she threw the iron? I got so many questions. I know we listen and we don't judge, but I ask questions, right? And they get into these things and they don't realize that it is wrong, or it doesn't have to be that way. Because they've seen somebody else in those situations, right? And then because they survived it or they went through it, it's okay for me to go through it. No, somebody's got to break the cycle.
Yeah. And I think the most important thing about this, Jen, too, is to really bring to light is that not only is there an identification problem, but there's a problem with identifying what should be a problem.
Okay.
See, we got to talk about that first.
Yeah.
Should it be a problem that someone hits me? Should it be a problem that I'm pushed? Should it be a problem that they pushed me and then laughed? Should it be a problem that they cussed me out and then told me they love me? Should that be a problem? because we
Ooh.
use humor to masquerade a lot of
Mm.
stuff that we
Yeah.
don't need to. And
Yeah.
then when the monster gets untamable, then it becomes something we can't control. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what we need to learn, even with an emotional legacy. I tell one of the biggest things for my clients is avoidance. I mean, we have made it an art.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
have truly made avoidance an art form.
Yes.
Like, to like a spectacular Mona Lisa tea, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so we really don't understand that we avoid what we see a lot of the time, and it emotionally detaches us from the
Mm.
situation and doesn't allow us to be able to spot what it is that we need to spot when we need to spot it.
Avoidance. Oh. Now that can't be healthy. I mean, we keep on avoiding something. Eventually, it becomes a bigger something that we
That's
also not ready for.
yes.
So, oftentimes, these emotions are passed down.
Yeah.
Is it a history of people avoiding? Is it a history of people not knowing it's a problem? Is it a history of people saying, well, this worked for them, let me try it for me, even though I know it's not what I wanted to be?
Yes. Avoidance is very much historically, without people even realize it, passed down. When I tell you I believe in DNA, God is so amazing. DNA is a real thing, let me tell you. And so avoidance is one of those things that families have passed down, and they've done it so subtly that they don't even understand when they're all the time doing it. Let me paint this picture just really quickly. Avoidance looks like, oh, we're not going to talk about it right now, we'll talk about it later.
And later never comes.
Later never comes. Or it could be something more subtle. Oh my goodness, you're okay, you good, you're okay, you got it, you strong. Well, what does that have to do with there's no resolution, there's no safe space, there's no discussion, there's not a warm hug, there's not even an explanation of what's going on. You're just telling me because it's uncomfortable for you to emotionally address it that I'm okay. And so avoidance is played out over and over again. Oh, don't make nobody upset. Everybody's great. Everybody okay? Okay, stop that. Okay, everybody, be quiet. Shoving it down. That's a way to avoid too.
I have my questions, but we're going off a little bit, but all in the same vein, right?
Right.
Because oftentimes, they'll say, boys don't cry.
Yeah.
And it grinds my gears when they say that, because some things in life can happen where you thought you weren't going to cry and you cry. So how are we to say that to somebody else, right? So those different things are saying, you're okay, don't cry, let's move on. And we're not allowing people to express those emotions. So then that volcano goes off on the wrong person, or a person that they do hold dear to their heart, but because they could not express it, because they were told to hold it in, told not to share it. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, it happens all the time. How many times do we avoid emotions because we're not comfortable with it? Right? How many times do we avoid anger because we don't have the tools to deal with it? This is the reason why emotional legacy is so important, because what we've done is we've taught a generational, and I mean, this has been a generational teaching. And remember, we teach by way of demonstration. Right. So we teach by what we say and what we don't say, and we teach by what we live and what we don't live. Okay. And so when you have a teacher saying, oh, it's going to be okay, or even a mother or father saying, oh, it's going to be okay, it's a way to disregard the bigger issue. It keeps me from discussing it. And if I'm being really fair, because I don't want to villainize anyone, we're really talking about, especially in our community, right? The African American community, we're talking about not having the same tools, because remember, we're getting this information much later than other communities.
Yeah.
So we didn't have the tools on how to talk to each other all the time. And then we had so much input and infection from other communities that impacted how we related. So now we don't know how to express ourselves. We don't know how to allow other people to express themselves because we haven't learned how to be a safe space yet for one another. Again,
Mm,
that's something
mhm,
we're trying to relearn, but we
yeah,
haven't fully embraced it yet.
yeah. I think a hard part of that too is when somebody does become vulnerable to share something,
Yeah.
because maybe I didn't deal with it, or I don't know how to handle it,
Yeah.
or my mama just said it's okay, moving on.
Mhm.
I then push that onto them. And then that cycle continues not just from the parents, it's the people on your level or
Yeah.
your circle, and then you're fearful of being open with them. And then
Mhm.
again, you're not being able to express yourself. And then you meet somebody and you're like, oh, I can share who I am. I can be intimate beyond, it's not, sexual, it's really being able to share who you are, flaws and all. And then they can't handle it. Then they use it against you. And it's like, oh, I'm never opening up ever again. Right.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
you get into that cycle of, oh, I'm just do what I do.
Right.
Can
Yeah.
you help the people that's in relationships as we're in the beginning of the year? That's getting frustrated, irritated of, can
Mhm.
I open up again? Can I keep on trying? Because there's a lot of stuff out here in the dating pool for those that are trying to date or thinking of dating and things of that sort, but also just friendship wise, right? It's some friends that weren't taught how to be a friend, did not know how to be present for you. So it's on all spectrums of connections where we
Yes.
get stuck.
Yeah. I will say I have this, and let's dive in. Let me just tag team right here with relationships. And I'm talking about intimate relationships,
Yeah.
right? One
Yeah.
of the things, and I'm gearing this especially towards singles that desire
Mhm,
marriage,
mhm,
right? I have this audio course called Kingdom Mantle Compatibility. And so one of
mhm,
the things that I would really talk to singles about is what does it look like when a person tells you who they are? Listen to what I said. What does it look like when a person tells you who they are? And so,
mhm,
one of the questions I would tell singles to ask is, what does it look like when you get angry?
mhm,
Right? So, I need you to tell me what that demonstration looks like, right?
mhm,
Is that demonstration shutting down? Is that demonstration, slamming the door? Is it throwing stuff? Like, what does that look like? Because one thing that a person can't sidestep is what they do when they're in the mode of doing it, of being who they are, right?
mhm, mhm,
So we've got to make sure that we're able to have the necessary conversations and ask the right questions so
mhm,
that we know who we're revealing ourselves to. People have to be on the same page, right?
mhm,
There
mhm,
has to be an intentionality of what you're doing. Even with friendships, you have to intentionally understand the purpose of a friend.
mhm,
I did a 3-part series on friendship, the dangerous woman. You
mhm,
really have to understand the purpose of a friendship. When you are a believer, that looks different than when you're not,
mhm,
right? So all of these relationships being safe and then being harmed in them comes from us wanting to trauma bond sometimes and not really looking at what that person is giving, what that person is providing, what should the safe space look like, what should it sound like, what should it feel like. All of
mhm.
those things matter.
So many good things. I got to go back to the relationship piece now, because the question was, what does it look like when you get angry? And friends, again, I'm always telling my business. I
Yeah.
can't tell you how important questions are, beyond what's your favorite color, what do you like to do, what's your favorite food. Those
Yeah.
are good too, but really finding out the root of that person, because you be done got yourself hooked up with a double trout or
Yes,
and you
ma'am.
don't want that. And follow up questions of, oh, it used to be bad. What does that mean? What was bad and what is okay now? Because
Yeah.
your okay now might be bad to me because I ain't used to you handling. I can't be handled that way. That's not who I am. Again, you got to know who you are, what it is that you want, what makes a safe space for you. Can they make a safe space? Can they, help maintain the safe space for you? Because you be so excited to have somebody. I know I had to learn the hard way too, but I'm trying to help you out today. Don't
Okay.
waste no time this year in situations that's not building you and giving you what it is that you need. Because, oh. Yes. Okay.
And can I just tag something really quick?
Yes. Go ahead.
And
Go
I'm
ahead.
just going to bring this to a culmination what you were saying.
Yes.
And I'm going to give y'all a huge takeaway. I need you to learn definitions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You saying, Lady J, what are you talking about? Do you not know when I counsel couples, I spend a lot of time making sure their definitions match. See, you're wanting a safe space, but what is a safe space in their definition? See, safe space may mean I just don't slap you today. But what does safe space mean to you? Can those definitions come together to create a space or create a relationship that you can both share and mutually benefit from? And so I spend a lot of time just trying to get people to have the same definitions. You think you know what good is until you ask the person, well, what is good to you? You said it, and you think you know what bad is until you ask the person, well, what does bad mean to you?
And that's so good. And that's with not just, friendships too, right?
Yes,
What's
absolutely.
your definition of a friend? We just hang out every so often and then we don't do nothing else. Like we don't see each other. Like, how does that work? Because
Yes.
everybody's definition is also different based off of friends that they had. You gotta find out. I like this. What's your definition? You writing a book called What's Your Definition?
I'm not, but you know what? I need to.
It's so important. Talking to kids all the time, they'll say something out. Then I gotta ask, what does that mean? Because I know what it means in my time, but I don't know what it means in your time. And
Correct.
it's two different things.
Right. And that's why verbiage is so important. And that's why communication is so important. Right now, I'm created a therapeutic tool called Authentic Exchange Deck. And so it's one of the things that I'm going to be servicing with a lot of therapists that they're going to be given to their clients so that they can have the necessary discussions and have the correct verbiage to speak. It's important. When you're talking to your kids, parents, you need to understand what that means. What does cap mean?
Yes.
Like, what's that definition? That tells you a lot because usually we don't do what we don't say and what we say we do.
Come on.
Right. So if we in captain, what cap mean? Does that, because back in our day it meant something else. It meant violence, right? It meant, you in violence, right?
Yes.
Okay. In today's vernacular, that just means you stunting, right? So what does that mean? So definitions and defining is so important in a relationship, in every kind of relationship.
And it's the simplest of words. Because they can say I'm good. What does good mean? Like, how was your day today? Really get into the root, because sometimes we gloss over that. And most times people need you to dig a little deeper because they were having a bad day. They were about to go off on somebody. They was about to lose their job, get locked up, whatever, because life was life and they couldn't take it. So when they came home, they needed that support. So it's us also paying attention visually to people, not just what they say, but also the behaviors of what they're doing.
Yeah.
Ooh. This is good. Okay. Let's talk about some emotional messages we've inherited growing up as it relates to love. Let's start with love first. Then we'll do like a couple other words that pop out.
Okay. So specifically, what do you want to know?
Okay, so I'll give you one. So something that we were taught growing up, out in school, going back to the sit thing, is love tips. If he hitting you or he doing this because he loves you or he likes you and things of that sort. He's doing different things to bully you or all those different things for other people. Oh, you're crying. It's like, that means he like you. I don't feel like it though, So these are some things that we grow up inheriting about love, and it don't be right all the time.
Right. And I love that. I love you gave that example because instead of calling it what it was, which is they did not have the verbiage to communicate, or they were not emotionally mature enough to communicate what they were feeling. We said because the feeling, the taps came before the love expression, right? So that's how we connected those two, right? So I think one important thing to really understand is that love should be consistent. Love should be consistent. How are we going to be able to break apart some of these myths that we have in our communities, and in our schools, even amongst our friendships, is that we're going to have to understand what love was really meant to do. I don't think we understand what it was purposed for.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people do their therapy and their counseling. I do know spiritually informed therapists like myself, but I can't do it without a God-sized lens. So for me, that looks very different. What was love purpose to do? It was purpose to sustain. It was purpose to heal. It was purpose to reconcile. It was purpose to inspire, to encourage. So at no time should love be villainized, and at no point should love be a weapon.
Yes.
So anytime it starts veering off into something that's not indicative of the quality or the attribute of love, then it's not that.
Yes.
So we got to flush out those myths. And love is one of them. Love shouldn't hurt. Love shouldn't take 10 years to realize. That's another craziness. Being in these relationships 10 and 20 years and he ain't doing nothing. That's crazy. I'm sorry. I love y'all, but the pastor coming out now because that's crazy. Amen. I love you enough to tell you. Amen. And so because that's a waste of time. Amen. Amen. And so those kinds of things.
Now, I also want to share on the flip side of the coin, right? There are some positive things we learned about love.
Yes.
Love is patient, love is kind. I remember growing up, love was open in my house. My mom loved on me, hugged on me, comfort, things of that sort. Be up underneath her, wanting to be connected and things of that sort. I felt love. I felt safe there. I felt like I could go to her for anything, right? And recently I learned that some people all didn't have that experience either, right? Or I was talking to a young lady, she's like, felt like her mom didn't love her. And I'm like, love is also an action word. So I'm sharing with her all the things that mom is doing for her that comes out of love. But because she hadn't heard the words, and like hurt my heart a little bit, I was like, I love you. Yeah, you tell me. Because some people still want to hear the word, right? So we have the people that are showing it, that are learning it. And then we also have those that are seeing it, but not quite sure because they haven't quite verbalized it. But can we talk about those two sides of the fence?
Yeah, I would say definitely the love that's been positive, like you gave the example. There's been those of us I had my mother before she passed almost a year ago, coming up here in February. And my mother loved me. You know what I mean? She really loved me. And she really taught me what it was to be a woman. And I would say that people who don't have that love, especially in a specific role, then they miss the building that comes with that love. So there's a positive side to this love where it's consistent, it is safe, it builds, it refines, it guides, right? It stabilizes, right? It looks you in the eye. It's honest with you. It holds you. It taps you just a little bit, but in really safe, appropriate places. And it redirects you, right?
Have you on the safe and appropriate places.
Yes. The safe and appropriate places, meaning that love is going to not hit you in the face or punch you in the nose, but it can't just tap you on the hand and say, get on in there, get back in line. It can't just tap them legs or them little ankles like we used to get in school and say, hey, come on, get back, get back. Safe spaces mean I will touch you appropriately. I'm not groping you in public, right? Love looks different, right? Love respects my boundaries. Love wouldn't have me looking at suggestively, right? There's a respect that comes with that because there's a decorum that comes with that. And there's a protection that comes with it. So that is the part of love that we often don't get. And because people normally get the negative side, they grow up not stabilized and not able to verbalize what they need or what they really want.
Emotional messages that we get from love friends. Drop down in the comments some messages you got related to love, positive, negative, things of that sort. Another word let's talk about is maybe conflict, right? Sometimes we feel like conflict always has to happen. And though conflict is good, doesn't mean that we got to do it all the time, every day. Let's talk about conflict.
Conflict, here's my thing with conflict. Conflict does not always have to be hostile. right? Conflict in its very nature, most people are probably hearing that word and saying, but that's what conflict is. It's an exchange. That's, two people are really just into it. But conflict also, because words usually have dual meanings, 3 meanings, 4 meanings, 5 meanings, means that there's a problem, right? There's a disagreement, right? And so I think that our message with conflict is that it always has to be hostile, and it always has to be something that degrades and insults, when actually conflict can be something that is an intervention tool. Doesn't always have to be hostile.
Yes. I like it. Hey, Antoinette, she said love is transparent also to make it a safe space. Absolutely. But sometimes people are so fearful of being transparent. Ooh, let's talk about this for a second. Church girl all my life, been in the church, right?
Me
And
too.
they'll tell you not to do some things. But it wasn't until I got older and had more transparent conversations with people that I found out, oh, this is why you told me not to do that, right? And sometimes we can say, no. But the time that we're living in has changed a little bit. You got to give a little bit more than no. Because you say me, no, don't touch, I'm going to get burned. How burnt would I get? I feel like Adam and Eve, kind of like, will I surely die? We live in this every day, right?
Right.
But it's the conversation that comes behind it of, because if you do that, this is what can happen. Your emotions get tied up. I know you love that boy and you feel like he's the sun, moon, and stars, but slow it down just a little bit to find out if it really is what it is that you want to be. Because then you find out that he got like 5 different other people and things like that, right? But that's also a possibility.
It is. I think here's my thing with transparency. I think that it's one of those things that in our community we have to get better about. But I also think that we need to be transparent with more qualified people. Ouch. Yeah, we need to be, we need to, yeah. We're not transparent with qualified people.
Ooh.
And so we often get in trouble because those that we are confiding in, like you were giving an example of earlier, cannot handle that truth.
Why? Because we're not being transparent with the right people, baby. Because we tell them they run with it, or we tell them they chop us down for it.
Yeah.
Or we tell them they don't have no response.
Right. And sometimes they're not equipped to give us the insight and guidance that we need.
Oh my.
So there's a very, I'm a person of balance. I really am. I do understand friendships and I understand how they operate, but I also understand that there's sometimes a level of transparency when we go into depths and depths of our souls and our beings. We need more qualified people to be transparent with. Some of us are being transparent in the depths of our soul with the man at the corner or the gas station. That's not who you be that transparent with. Please don't tell them that your mama used to. Oh, amen. Can we not do that?
Go ahead. I love it.
They're not responsible enough to handle your pain. And then we're looking for people to heal us that aren't qualified to heal us. They're not even appointed or assigned by God to heal us, but we're trying to get something from them. And don't get me wrong, I'm not blaming you, because I do understand that you usually gravitate towards who listens. But this is why we need those safe spaces to be transparent with, so that we can definitely be in a place where we're like, okay, I can share the depth of my soul because they're qualified. And guess what? They're present and they're capable.
So, qualified people, because we find people, and because they're older, or they say they've been through that situation, and age, whether they're young or old, right? Anybody can support you. You just got to still make sure that you're with the right person, because you'll tell somebody and they can be manipulative. They can twist that thing around.
Yeah.
And then you're sitting, it's like, well, why am I feeling this way? And then we have a moment like, that wasn't what I was thinking. That wasn't what I was feeling. Well, you done now took on their emotions, emotional legacy, right?
Yep.
And if we don't catch it, if we're not able to quickly identify, because we just found this person on the street. I was watching this movie, and the girl had come across this guy who she had known years ago. He fell on hard times, still lost his job. So he's like transient, like living on the streets and things of that sort. She takes him in, helps him get his stuff together. He's back on the top and things of that sort. And it was funny. I was riding down the street after watching the movie and saw somebody. I was like, you better not. But the mindset of it was that people really do that. They just find somebody, pick them up and feel like, oh, I can clean it up. I can get it together. And they ain't where you're supposed to be. And sometimes it's even in that support. They're available. They could come over. They could do those things. But doesn't mean that they're quality people or even capable of handling the weight of what it is that you got to get off of you so you can keep on going.
Yeah. And then the other part, Jen, that we don't realize is that sometimes we're assigned to clean up, but we're not assigned to keep.
Whew.
Can we say amen in this place?
Amen.
Sometimes we're assigned to clean up, but we're not assigned to keep.
Whew.
And this is the part that we get mixed up with, especially in the church. I've done it. I was in a relationship for 3 years with a guy. I was, I think I was assigned to drop a nugget, but yet I dropped 3 years and I paid for it. Okay. So I'm just telling you, sometimes we're assigned to clean up and just move forward and plant the seed and move. And sometimes we're finding ourselves keeping what we weren't meant to keep.
I be on here telling my business all the time. Because there's sometimes I got into some situations that I knew I should not have been in.
Yeah.
And it took my time to consume my time. But when it was over, God was like, I had to distract you because I had to keep your mind busy on this because then you would have did something else, right? But also knowing your assignment, because it doesn't mean that person is meant to be all, is all of whatever situation or whatever kind of relationship it is. Yeah. But in our minds, we'll fantasize it to be something that is not. We already asked the questions of what does it look like when you get angry? And they said, oh, yeah, I throw stuff, I hit stuff, I do this. You're like, oh, I can fix them. Baby, no. And it'd be the simplest things that we hear that we want to like sweep over and things that sort. But we gotta be aware. We gotta take off the rose-colored glasses to find out. I had saw a post that said, you're meant to be a lesson, a blessing, or it was something else. A lesson or a blessing. We'll keep with those, right? Okay. And this, I'm meant to be both. You sure was a lesson and a blessing. You're right. You ain't never lied, And we got to take those words because we're not even listening to the words that's coming out of their mouths because in our mind, oh, this is a good friend to me, not knowing that they're continuing to use us. They always need from us. They're always pulling from us.
Yeah.
And our emotions are out of whack. And we're like, well, what's going on?
Oh. It's true. And a lot of the times, the reason why we're keeping, now watch this is the other part of it. The reason why we're keeping is because really we're in need too.
Right.
So it's not just the person that needs the cleanup. It's the person that needs to save the person that needs to be cleaned up. Ooh. Right. So we got two people that are trauma living, right? We got trauma bonding, but they're trauma living, right? Mm-hmm. And they're in this situation. And now they're not recognizing that although they're great people, this is not saying that anybody's a bad person, right? Yeah. Great people. Mm-hmm. Just not, it wasn't meant to go together. Right? Mm-hmm.
And that's so good because there's times that I've met people that are dope people. I know I'm a dope person, but it wasn't the time. It wasn't right. It still wasn't the right connection. It wasn't the right puzzle piece.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're forcing some pieces. And though it does go on a puzzle, doesn't mean that they connect right next to your piece. They could be down the street around the corner. But hey, I see you.
That's right. That's right.
But we get caught in this keeping what we weren't meant to keep.
That's true. And then sometimes we make a piece fit because we're wearing the same color shirt, but that's not the right piece.
Oh, I like it because we're wearing the same color shirt.
So we, a lot of the time that's and that's part of what the Kingdom Mantle Compatibility was teaching is that a lot of time we think because we are it's the same, that means compatibility, which by definition, compatibility does not necessarily mean sameness. It doesn't by definition, right? But that's how we relate. We relate clicking and relationships by commonality. And that's not necessarily accurate, right?
You're gonna get us together tonight, I see.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Because that's real.
Yes,
that's
real. It's a real thing.
Shout out to Mama Wanda. Hey, Mama Wanda, thank you for joining us tonight. Been a loving follower and supporter since day one. I appreciate Mama Wanda.
Amen.
Internet, she said, girl, that's why I got LASIK. Those rose-colored glasses measure up all the time. Baby.
She's right, though. And it's the rose-colored glasses that's led by the rose-colored emotions.
Oh.
Right? So we can blame the sight, but our emotions are out of whack. We don't have clarity on what we stand for and what we don't. And so a lot of the time we get involved in things that emotionally take us so far from our baseline that it's hard for us to function. And then we wonder why we lose ourselves.
Oh, this it. You know what? You don't do it.
Yeah.
So what are some steps for us to break the negativity, the negative emotions that we're having, or to break the cycle so that is not the legacy that we leave to like those that are coming up after us, those that are around us now? How can we break the cycle to ensure that we too are being intentional about identifying feelings that we're having? What are the steps to even be able to identify all those things up in one?
Yeah. So let me sum it up with this, because I know I want to be very intentional about my response. You know, breaking negative cycles and preparing to rehabilitate or allow God to help you rehabilitate an emotional legacy. We first got to be willing to confront. That avoidance piece is, like I said, is huge. And so we can't avoid anymore. We have to confront. Also, we've got to be willing to be present. Okay. I can't tell you how many people want to do the work to fix their family, but they don't want to be the one to initiate and be in it to help fix it. They just want it to be fixed from this corner way in the room. Okay. All right. Fix it. It doesn't work that way. You've got to be present to do the work. Don't try to do it. Don't try to opt out and do it in a comfortable way by sweet quotes and Bible scriptures. Some of the people that are in our families and etc. don't even believe in that. Some people do, some people don't. So you've got to be intentional about doing the work. So you got to be present.
Yeah.
You yourself have to show up as the person that realizes that it's a problem. Right? So your contribution matters, right? So we got confrontation, we got being present, being ready to understand what your contribution needs to be to breaking that cycle, right? And then you also need to be willing to get the help necessary so that everyone can be helped. This cannot be a long ranger type initiative. You got to consider all pieces. That's where you can start.
So number one is confront. Number two, be present. I like that number three, being ready to understand your contribution. What are you doing? You know, what role you play? Because you're like, oh, it's not me. Could be a little bit. And we got to be honest with ourselves. We got to confront ourselves too, what we allow to seep in, and then getting that support and help.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you something about that contribution. I just want to hit this real quick because it's real important, because what people don't realize is that even if I say I do nothing, Jen, then if I do nothing, I'm giving nothing. So that is something that I'm doing, right? Yeah. So by default, I'm doing something, which is the nothing, which means that I'm not contributing anything, which means that my contribution is absent. So I can't make it better because I'm not participating, but I'm darn sure making it worse because I'm not participating.
Yeah. And if you're not speaking up, you can't help fix the situation. You hungry, you're not saying this, and they don't know to feed you.
Yeah.
You're not hungry, and they're giving you food. They don't know to stop because you're full.
That's right. You got to show up.
Gotta show up. Gotta be present. Oh, this is so good. This is so good. Oh, let me see. Okay. So sometimes we get caught up emotional legacy. We in a new year, we're trying to start some new feelings.
Yes.
Forgiveness. Can we talk about that just a little bit?
Listen, there was a question posed, and I want to hit this because I just really have to get into this because forgiveness is something that is internal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One of the things that I'll be doing in June of 2026, I'm going to Durham, North Carolina, and I'm holding a workshop that I do every year. And the theme this year is a family trip that heals. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm intentionally on assignment, God assignment to help families reconcile. That is my assignment all year long, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that we are going to be leaning heavy into is forgiveness. But what most people don't understand about forgiveness is that that's an internal work, right?
Mm-hmm.
We hear forgiveness is for you, it's not for the other person. But I would disagree a little bit with that because forgiveness, just like anything that God gives us, his forgiveness served us from him to us and us to him.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's something that always happened, right? Because God made sure that his forgiveness always served both people. And so our forgiveness will serve both people. It will serve us and it will serve them, right?
Yeah.
And so what we need to know about forgiveness is that it's a work that we must be willing to do if we're going to live the quality lives that we so desire and that we really deserve.
An inner work that we must do.
Yes.
And again, sometimes people are fearful of it because we're not sure of how the other person will respond. Will they take it?
Yeah.
Will I take it? Will it change the dynamics of the situation? And we also have to know that seasons change. So if it doesn't work out, it was time for it to end.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's meant to come back around, it will come back around again. The boomerang effect really does work. Just be careful. Because sometimes that boomerang just came around to test you to see if you really learned the lesson the first time.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think here's the thing about forgiveness. I think sometimes we have people focus too much on what other people will or won't do. One of the things that I was hashtagging for the workshop was ready to apologize, ready to accept. Sometimes we need to be ready to extend the apology. It's not always sometimes. Sometimes we got to be ready to accept it too, right? Because sometimes we're not great. I found out that I wasn't good at accepting apologies. I said I was great at it, but I sucked at it, right? And so sometimes we've got to realize is that we got to be ready to receive it like we want it given to us.
Yeah.
So that's a part of the forgiveness chain is to accept it. And so we don't talk about that. We just talk about receiving it. Oh, I just want to hear it. Well, if you hear it, okay.
This is good. I know we coming to a close, but it's a couple more I'm trying to squeeze in there.
No, you're good on time. I just want to make sure that I do not lose charge or anything.
Yes, Lord, don't let her lose charge. She's getting our lives together. She's gathering us this last Monday of January.
It is not.
Some of us have just survived the storm and still getting our butts kicked before our good. So we thank you. So we talked about spirituality, Christian, follower, believer.
Yeah.
How does faith and spirituality influence our emotional legacy that we leave?
That's a supposed to and a do. That question is layered. It's supposed to affect it by our willingness to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, though, the way that it affects it is that it intimidates it.
Mm-hmm. And what would cause that intimidation? Or what causes it to be intimidated?
Can we do it?
Mm-hmm.
Ego gets in the way, pride gets in the way. Um, I tried already gets in the way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm only gonna say it like this gets in the way. How we want to deliver how we want the reconciliation to happen versus how it needs to happen. We're not usually yielded to that.
Mm-hmm. Ooh,
So
friends.
sometimes the God's requirement intimidates us because God's goodness intimidates us. That's the reason why
Mm-hmm.
people are so upset with Jesus, because they're intimidated by his goodness. The
Mm-hmm.
fact that a man could be perfect here on earth because he was submitted to his father is an intimidation to people. So can you imagine a family that's you're coming against, that's always used to you being the crap starter, and then you come in and say, I don't want to do any of that. I just want to love you,
Mm-hmm.
because it shows them who they are.
Mm. It's pretty big. I've been on this mission of reading the Bible in a year. Keep me in your prayers. But in the portion I was reading, it was talking about Jacob, and now he wants to like clean up a little bit. He's like, I done did some stuff, but God has not forgotten me. And he
Yeah.
wants to clean up his house, getting his kids to get together and things of that sort. And it seems odd because, like, no, we normally turn up, Dad. What's going on here, right? And that's the difference when you're trying to now turn a new leaf. And in this mindset of this new year, starting to, fresh, trying to get some things in alignment, there's some people that we have not been the best examples of emotional intelligence, emotional
Yep.
well-being, right?
Yep. Yep.
And life
Yep.
is short. We never know if that was the last conversation with them or if we'll see them again, or even the power of those words that we had with them, positive, negative, all in between, right? Because it's not always bad. But what are some ways we can be more intentional, I guess is the word, to be healthier in our mindset? Kind of goes to that confront, being present,
Yep.
ready to understand our piece. But I want to give us some words of wisdom and encouragement to know that it's not too late to turn that leaf.
Right. The most impactful and the most like pressing thing that I really want you to get, and I'm looking in this camera and this lens this way because I want to be so intentional with what I'm about to say to you. I want to encourage you that this work can be done. One of the things that causes such an unhealthy cycle, especially in our community, is just getting started.
Mm,
We don't even think we can do it. We don't even think it's possible. Just between men and women relations, right? We don't think it's possible to have the respect. We don't think it's possible to rebuild. We don't think it's possible to re-empower our communities. But can I tell you, the person that doesn't start is the person that never taps in. So what you have to do is that you have to realize that while there is still time in your body and God has granted it to you, that there is time to do it and you can start it now. You can help change history. Historically, the legacy has been laid already, but you, yes, you have the ability to help change and transform what comes next. Statistically, it's shown kids who have parents that knew how to forgive are usually more forgiving. Parents who did not forgive have kids that don't forgive. Statistically. So there is always a work to do. And I need you to show up and realize you can get started. So break that unhealthy cycle of thinking you can't do it or that the assignment is not yours.
mm.
If you're hearing me tonight, you can do it and the assignment is yours.
The assignment is yours. to break the cycle. You can do it. We can do it. And in that, what support systems would you say are essential to help us do this kind of work?
You're going to need someone that's skilled in the work. I'm such a huge proponent of therapists, coaches, counselors. You need someone professional to help you do the work, right? You need someone advising you, okay? If they can't do the whole family, like myself, I have a whole family program. But if you don't have anyone who doesn't have a family program, then if they're starting with you, then they need to be able to help and advise you on how to begin the rebuilding process.
Mm-hmm.
Because all it takes is one
Yes.
to begin sowing it, right?
Yeah.
So that's important. That's important. So the relationships you're going to need is you're going to need a professional. From my standpoint, because I'm a woman of faith, you're going to absolutely need your faith in God. Okay. And you're going to need the participation of the family unit.
Yeah.
But you don't need everybody. I want to tell you this real quick. You don't need everybody. One of the things I'm very strategic about is that just like in a business, when they're advertising to people who can make the moves to purchase the product, I want you to think of this the same way. No, your family is not dollar signs, but I want you to think of the people who really have the influence. Those are the ones that you begin planting the seed with. As you sow into them, you can begin to move the whole family unit. So that's just a little bit of strategy.
Yes, I love that. Because oftentimes people feel like, if only I'm going, how does that help the family as a whole? Or if only I'm going, how is that going to help my marriage?
Yeah.
Oftentimes we find out when we go, we have some personal stuff we first had to deal with, which then helps us to take off those rose-colored glasses, helps us get that LASIK, but also helps us to not put no rose-colored film over our eyes again, to really address and identify the things that we personally have to work on. And how we can see from their point of view, empathy, and how we can bring up conversations in a healthy way to be able to dig deep into those emotions that are trying to hold us back, or those things that are trying to, cause us to feel like we can't do when we can do. So again, be encouraged. You can go individually. And as they see the light change in you, they like, kind of like Christianity. I see you don't do the stuff you used to do. What must I do
to be saved? Come on. Come on.
So that's how it works. When they see that change in you and they see like it's for the better, then people want to know what's going on. Something's different in your mood.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've been addressing that thing I told you I wanted to talk about. Oh, I'm so proud of you. Then you get to build and encourage them. And then they encourage you. What's the stuff I need to build on? I know when we first started, Lady J was like, I was lying to myself, talking about going to the gym. I'll go in, but encourages you if you see the benefits of somebody else coming through on whatever it is that they said they were going to come through on. I like that. This is so good, Lady J. You're amazing.
Amen. Come on. God is good. God is good. Yes, I love this work. I love this work. I really do.
Yes.
I love it.
Could you leave us with some words of wisdom? What is it that you want the listeners to walk away with on tonight, or whatever time they listen and tune in?
I want you to walk away with the fact that you are not here by accident. And you may hear that a lot of times, you may hear it often, but I want you in this moment to really ground yourself. And when I say ground yourself, I mean really get in a space where you can receive it, that you're here with purpose. Things don't have to continue to be dysfunctional. The only reason that they are is because we're more comfortable with dysfunction than we are with healing. And that's part of our problem in our family systems. Dysfunction, we know. Healing, we don't. And so I want you to really, as a word of wisdom, really begin to wrap your mind around what does healing and reconciliation mean, the definition. In definitions, it always tells you what the word means and then what it looks like in demonstration. So dive into reconciliation, find out what it means and how you're supposed to be demonstrating it. You can do this. You got this.
So friends, y'all know I love homework. Lady J just gave y'all some homework. Because again, it's not until you dive into it to find out what it means and what it looks like for you that you have the blueprint.
Yeah.
Like the vision, make it plain is really a real thing.
It
Because you can
is.
have an idea in your head, but it's not until you write it out. You say, I want to be an entrepreneur, but what does that look like? You got to write out the business plan. What are you selling? What are you offering? What are you giving, right?
Yeah.
So like, once I write down, I clarify, no, this is not what I meant. This is what I mean.
Yep.
So to clarify what it is, so then you know, get your focus together, get the distractions away, and you want that to get done what you got to get done.
Yeah.
Your homework, reconciliation. What does that mean? What does that look like? I hope y'all be doing your homework. Like, I'm ground. I mean, we always learning, you know, even if it's for you to take a couple moments just to, what does that mean to me? What is it for this year that looks like me? Who do I need to forgive? Do I have quality people in my life? Do I have the clarity that I needed? What's your definition? I'm sorry asking people that. What you mean by that? How you defined? They're gonna be mad at me. I love it though.
And you know what? But you're gonna find that most people, okay, we don't have the same definition. So if you don't even have the same definition, you're not even on the same page. So it's an interesting journey to take with that.
Yes. I love it though. Friends, you know, I didn't put your TikTok over here. What's your TikTok name?
It's Lady J Speaks. So I have 2 TikToks.
Gotcha.
Lady J Speaks, just one word. And then we have Coach J Hunter.
Gotcha. So Lady J, because again, that's where I found Lady J. Ironically, you thought I would have put that up there, right? Lady J Speaks, right? Mm-hmm. Y'all be sure to follow Lady J because she be going in over there. And again, that's how I found her. And had been following her for some time and things of that sort. Giving some good insight, crying out, sparing not, helping us to get ourselves together, making sure we know what our definitions are, that forgiveness. I like this family, that Hill Strip. Please do. I'll look up the information so I can share that. Because if they can't come down, are you doing it virtually and things where people can connect?
Virtually, we normally do it online every year. So this is the first year, the 4th year that we're doing it in person in Durham, North Carolina. And so it's going to be June 19th, 20th, and 21st of this year. And it's going to be so amazing. I'm telling you, it's going to be a workshop. We're going to have teaching. So we're combining the therapeutic and the Bible together. Amen. And so really allow the flow of God, but have the training, the scientific training with individuals like myself, Apostle Keisha Mack, who are going to be helping our families and individuals and couples. It's for every segment, individuals, families, and couples to really begin to do the work on healing. And then on Friday night, we're going to have like a Paul and Silas moment at midnight. We're going to have a family prayer and intercessory time, and we're going in. Okay. We're going in. And when I tell you that, you know, it's not super expensive. We got payment options on the website. Look at it. We have Klarna. We have all those good little options to pay and mediums where you can break it down. But I'm telling you, it's going to be so well worth it. So well worth it.
Yes. I'm going to be sure to share that out with with our friends, let them know. I love this. That family prayer at midnight. You know, we used to have shut in. They don't do that too often anymore. Not too many people.
Right.
We got to tarry a little bit. We be like, dear Jesus. He ain't say that. Amen. No, you need a little bit more than that, you know? When you really need him to do something, you got to be like, oh, Jesus, I ain't moving till you tell me something, Lord.
Come on.
And we really need to seek his direction in a lot of things, and sometimes we don't do that. I like that midnight prayer. And the piece of the couples, the family, and the individual, right? Make sure you hit all pieces to make sure people get what they need. So I'll be sure to share that. Friends, again, be sure to follow on TikTok or Instagram, see what she's doing, because she's doing some great things in these streets. I am just truly grateful and honored that you joined us tonight.
Oh, I'm so thankful. I enjoyed myself immensely. I love this. So thank you so much for the opportunity. And I really did. You did a great job.
Oh, thank you so much. We appreciate you. I hope that you have an amazing evening. You don't got no snow where you are. I do got some out here where I am. But God is still good.
Yes, he is.
Because we still got to do with our emotions, snow or no snow, okay?
Snow or no snow.
And sometimes you got to dig that stuff out. And then sometimes when you don't have no snow, that means it's in clear view, but we still ain't paying it no mind. You see what I did there?
Come on, and the sun will come out and melt it all. Okay, you'll see it clearly. Okay. Yeah.
No rose-colored glasses. That lace got there. Oh, this was so great. I thank you again so much for joining us. I hope you have an amazing, amazing evening. Oh, friends, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope that you enjoyed Lady J. She was the bomb.com, wasn't she? Oh, that was so good. I enjoyed myself. I hope that you did too. Don't forget our quote of the day. You can never be true to others if you keep on lying to yourselves. You can never be true to others if you keep on lying to yourselves. Friends, don't lie to yourself no more. Say, I'm going to try to do it and really try to do it. I challenge you to do it, okay? Don't forget, find out what your definition is. Find out what their definition is. Because if they say that they love you and they don't feel like the love you need, what does love mean to you? And then you can say what love means to, how love means to you as they share what love means to them, right? And then you come to agreement, write out that plan to see is this where you want to be. Friendship, family, all that, okay? Because sometimes we didn't know. But we can know if we communicate and find out what's going on, all right? Don't forget you can support chosen counselors. We have our hoodies. We have I don't have the capacity. I got my I don't have the capacity on today because I thought I did not have the capacity, but guess what? Lady J got me together, and now I have the capacity to get my emotions together. So we also have our check on your friends, and then we have our limited edition, let me ask God first, because I don't try to do nothing. I try to make sure I consult Jesus. And I ain't going to hold him on my face because sometimes I don't ask him. And I pay for it. But I've learned when I do ask him, he puts a smile on my face. And guess what? I put a smile on his. Don't forget, we also have our Boss Girl Journal. Our planner and journal is now available right on our website. We have our planner journal and then the journal. You can get the bundle or the individuals. And I'm really grateful. I was sharing how I have not really been marketing, but God has still been blessed. And I appreciate it because I self-published that. And I appreciate how it's a blessing to those that have gotten it. And then how I'll be with somebody, giving somebody else a copy. And I was like, oh, you got some more? I sure do. And then they want a copy. That's my heart good. That book is dedicated to my mama, the late Ada E. She is the original boss girl in my life. And I'm so, so honored that I was able to do that. Don't forget to join us next week as we will have the Anna Brown Beanie talking about crossroads, not the Bone Thugs and Harmony crossroads, but crossroads, because we all get to a spot where we have to make a decision. Will we go right, where we go left, or will we carve our own way? So come hear our story next Monday, February 2nd. Can y'all believe we're in February? As we talk about crossroads. Okay, that's all I got. I do love y'all. I'm at the full, probably because I didn't really eat today. I'm going to go handle that. And then I'll see y'all next Monday. I love y'all all for real. Until next time, good night.
Thanks for joining Jen Cares this week. Special thanks to our sponsors, Swag Her Magazine and Chosen Counselors, guests, and viewers. Such a good conversation. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you found value in today's show, we'd appreciate your sharing it with a friend and dropping a comment down below. Thanks for joining Jen Cares this week. Special thanks to our sponsors, Swag Her Magazine and Chosen Counselors, guests, and viewers. Such a good conversation. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you found value in today's show, we'd appreciate your sharing it with a friend and dropping a comment down below. Until next time.